Hello friends, I am Vitaly Portnikov. As we can see, Donald Trump wasn't fooling anyone. When during his election campaign he promised to use tariffs and duties as an effective political tool. Against Canada and Mexico, this tariff weapon is already being used. Next up is the European Union. I admit that tariff duties against the People's Republic of China, which will also be increased. So far, compared to Canada and Mexico, it has gotten off with just a light scare. But this is possible because the Chinese presence in American markets may seem even more impressive than trade with neighboring countries. It's clear that Donald Trump's decisions will be a serious blow to the economies of neighboring countries. No matter what they say in Canada and Mexico, and the retaliatory duties, which will be the tariffs imposed against American goods, will still not affect American importers of products in Canada and Mexico, because Donald Trump's tariffs will affect the capabilities of the economies of Canada and Mexico themselves. But at the same time, we fully understand that there will be serious problems for the economy of the United States and, first and foremost, for the American consumer. No one doubts that prices for essential goods in the United States will be rising, that the price of food will rise, that the price of cars will rise, that the price of electronics will rise, and many other goods that are familiar to Americans. Of course, the political cost of Donald Trump's decisions will also rise, because the three neighboring countries that made up a single market in Central and South America are now practically on the verge of breaking their economic ties. At the same time, it's hard to say that this decision by Donald Trump will lead to the results he expects. It's clear that we're not talking about drugs. It has already been said that Canada's share in the emergence of narcotic substances on the streets of American cities is no more than 1%. And the main tool here would be more reliable control over the distribution of drugs, and not on the issues of its import from neighboring countries. It's clear that Donald Trump is not only thinking about saving those who use narcotic substances. How much about relocating production from countries like Canada, Mexico, and possibly the People's Republic of China to the territory of the United States? I don't think that will happen either. Americans have been fighting for their rights for many years. I would say that for centuries they have fought for their rights in terms of the opportunities for every working citizen. And it was a quite serious and effective struggle. It is precisely this effectiveness that has turned the United States into the country we know and are proud of. It is this struggle that has led to the fact that the cost of labor in the United States of America is not comparable to the cost of labor, not only in Mexico, but even in Canada. I'm not even talking about the People's Republic of China. And this is, as paradoxical as it may seem, a functioning economic model. It has been functioning since the times of ancient Rome. Where citizens fight most effectively for their rights and opportunities, the cost of labor is very high. But if these citizens form effective alliances with countries where labor costs are not as high, they can get cheaper products. And in their own country, they can work more actively on inventions, on innovations, over everything that essentially makes up the brain of the global economy. And this is exactly what the United States has been doing for decades, if not centuries. Just take a look at the list of Nobel Prize winners in economics or the exact sciences. To simply understand this, even Donald Trump cannot change this economic model. Even if we assume that the new American president could break the American Constitution and serve another term, even if we assume that the current American president could break the laws of nature and live forever, the laws of economics and politics do not obey the will of one person, even someone as eccentric and self-satisfied as Donald Trump. However, and this also needs to be understood, such decisions can create serious chaos in the global economy and lead to completely unpredictable consequences. And in the relationships between the United States and those neighbors, who are now trying to come up with effective measures in response to the decisions of the President of the United States and in the relationships with other countries, whose leaders might suddenly think that tariffs and duties are the lifeblood of the new global economy. No matter how much they talk about Donald Trump and his allies fighting against so-called globalists, you need to understand one very simple thing. The past can never defeat the future, even if the past seizes power. The only thing the past can do is prove to those who vote for it that their choice was wrong, tragic, and that they are paying for their choice with their economic situation, the prospects of their children, and in many cases, even their own lives. And perhaps the American voter who voted for Donald Trump. We will have to draw these disheartening and instructive conclusions in the coming years. In this sense, the historical significance of the new president will indeed be great for the United States of America and for the whole world. Because after Donald Trump finally and irrevocably leaves the political arena, along with the course that he embodies, questions arise about why it is needed by people. The global economy and cooperation will disappear on their own and never return. No political figure will win the election for the head of the American state under the absurd slogan of applying tariffs and duties. It is quite possible that Donald Trump is the last such politician in our recent history. Thank you, friends. Stay on this channel, subscribe to it, subscribe to my social media, to the channels on Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, and Donatello. That helps to develop all resources. Use the sponsorship feature right in YouTube. Peace to you.